Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Julian's Detroit Driver Blue frequency on encouragement and uh, the promotion of rideshare driving in the Detroit market. Trying a new spot right now to do videos at night. Um, I'm in the area of, I'm at Livonia, in the area. I'm at Plymouth and Farmington right now, and there's a nice, huge blast of light coming from this mobile gas station. And I'm also at my favorite coffee shop, Tim Hortons. Anyways, uh, welcome to my frequency here. I'm going to try all that new jargon on you guys. Appreciate the subscribers. Doing my best for you. Anyways, as you both know, or as you as you both know, as you know, I'm out here and for another night, and did very well last night. I had several long trips, like consecutively. It seemed like 2 airport trips that were rocking. It was awesome. And managed to pretty much make my goal and $50 more than that, and wound up on the east side of Detroit. And initially, again, thought, well, I want to stay in the Royal Oak, Oakland County area, better tipping and things like that, in my head, thinking, okay, it's going to be better there than anywhere else. Well, guess what? Ended up getting some great surge consecutively in the city of Detroit, and had some great riders. Didn't have the best tipping, but with the surge, it kind of made up for it. Had some rides that were that had some stops that I had to make. Increasingly, I'm dealing with passengers who don't know how to work the app very well. So I think it's very important that we as drivers learn how to use the Uber and Lyft apps, especially when it comes to helping them modify their trip. Because it seems like people have a hard time adding a stop and changing their drop-off destination. So if you already know how to do that, just keep in mind that the average rider may not know how to do that. So you need to, offer that help or that assistance. If maybe you overhear in their conversation that they don't know whether to stop here or stop there, or maybe they're thinking of going somewhere else completely different, and then of course the question always comes through, is it okay if and how do we do this and that, and the other thing? Of course, there's 2 ways you can do it. They can do it in the app, or you can just drive a certain amount of distance wherever they want you to drive, and you drop them off there, and it's able to record any increased distances that you're driving, from my understanding, from the way it's worked, in my experience. Which is, again, I have not been doing this for very long. I've got well over 500 rides with Uber, and things are going well, but still learning. Every day is a learning experience. So just to really quick recap, yesterday, toward the end of the night, had an amazing last ride where it was one of the first times I came up on my 12-hour counter. And I kept getting these messages. Oh, you have 1 hour and 23 minutes left on your trip on your app counter, and you will have to pause for 6 hours or something like that, and you will not be able to use the app or so. They made some, and then they want you to say okay. So that's kind of cool that they do that. And so as many of you know that I have not been constantly pounding the pavement around here. I've been sort of like in my retirement mode and getting out here and you know doing trips pretty much consistently, but not you know every single day running hard, as truckers say. Some of these guys on YouTube talking about run hard, and so that's which essentially most successful Uber drivers, it seems like, throughout the YouTube world, always they emphasize that. If you want to make the money, you got to run hard. You got to be out there for a period of time and be consistent with your rides. Try not to cherry pick your rides. Let the app take you where it needs to take you at different times of the day. You don't have to do that during your entire driving night in your philosophy of driving, but be strategic, of course. Know where you need to be, such as I'm like on the west side when I really should be in my target area, my beginning area, which I'll call my target area, which is usually Royal Oak, Oakland County, Troy, Michigan area. Anyway, so be safe when you help these passengers with their apps. Pull over to the side. Look at it. Show them what they need to do. How to modify the trip in the help selection area. Some who know how to use the app very well will do it very, very quickly. And I always like to document things. So to me, it's better for them to just modify their trip in the app versus claim total ignorance, like they don't know how to do it, unless they're riding, with someone else's, paying for the trip, which again, I really wish there was a way that they could officially record who was actually riding through the app. I wish the person who's paying for the ride, I wish there is a way that they would have to verify that person's identification before they're allowed to ride on an Uber trip. I think that would be very important. I think that's something that Uber should consider. And who knows, it was probably suggested when they went ahead and, I think it was 2016 or 17, they went and decided that they were going to start letting other people ride, on other people's accounts. And of course, the same rules apply, but the reality of it is the person that they allow to be on their account, that person is the one that is going to accrue either a negative or a positive star rating. So it can work for them and it can work against them. That is the one who's paying for the ride. Anyway, it's become a longer video than I thought, but I'm going to get started here pretty soon. This point that I was driving at regarding the apps and modifying the trip. Oh, so that was one of the things that was going on last night on my very last trip. And my very last trip was supposed to take me way out to Lapeer, which was going to be really awesome for a long trip. Thank God I had the gas, and thank God everything financially seemed to be in order. What do I want to say? So they went ahead and changed the drop-off point. They're very talkative, very friendly. Very friendly. I learned something in my former job, uh, which dealt a lot with people. And not to get into that too much, but I learned that if there's an over-friendliness about someone, that can be good or that can be a problem. And in this case, I found out it was a problem. It turned out to be a problem, but I didn't realize it till the next day. And I should have took a picture and sent it and reported it and everything like that, but I felt kind of sorry for the girl that ordered the ride, and she was up front here with me and her sister, and the two guys that were with them were, needless to say, definitely two, 1 to 2 sheets to the wind. Not too crazy, but so I didn't think anything of it. I thought they were just having a good time. Anyways, modified the trip, took them from the Royal Oak area to Auburn Hills, which turned out to be, a great deal. It was like a $17, $16 ride or something like that. So that was well over 200. It was like 220 something yesterday. So it was awesome. My take yesterday. What did I find in my back seat today? An empty Bud Light Ice. Empty blue can of Bud Light Ice. Looked initially like it was a can of Pepsi when I first saw it, and I thought, it's just a can of Pepsi. And then as I'm cleaning my car out before I started work today, I'm like, oh my gosh, man, these guys left some junk behind. And sure enough, it was in front of the passenger on the rear, sitting in the rear seat passenger area at his feet. And I didn't even think anything of it. Just ended my night. I was tired as all get out. Felt like Ubering home and leaving my car in Royal Oak even. But anyway, so I just threw it out, and I kind of thought to myself, do I need to report this? On a day where I'm a little bit more sharp, a little bit more, sticking to the letter of the law here in these cases, and in general, these things need to be reported, especially if it wasn't necessarily the rider, but it would sort of adversely affect the rider if it was reported. So my thing is I didn't want the rider to be blamed, or the person that paid for the ride to be blamed for idiot's mistake. The clown, it turned out to be in the back seat of my car. And guess who was the friendliest of the guys? The clown. Mr. Leave the Bud Light Ice can in Julian's Uber car. I was not happy with this, and definitely is another one of these learning experiences that I know better now. So, I learned. Anyway, I'm going to get out there without further ado. Done with my coffee break, and my coffee, the beginning of my day always begins with a good cup of Tim Hortons coffee. So I guess I've just plugged Tim Hortons. I don't know whether that's good or bad, or whether I have to pay a ton of money now or something like that. But anyway, good to see everybody, and please be safe out there. Like, comment, and kindly subscribe if you like what you see, and let me know what you think. And drive smarter, not harder. And I will see you guys, or try to make another video either later on tonight or definitely the evening before New Year's, New Year's Eve. All right, because that should be very interesting. So, peace.